Bama fans who are always realistic in their expectations as well.
What?
Always the most realistic fan base when it comes to expectations is those Crimson Alabama fans.
Petty, you saw I removed my glasses. I can't believe you said that.
Look, I'm trying to say it with a straight face. The most realistic fan base. What can they expect in year 2 of Coach DeBoer? Let's run, guys. Marvin, I'm gonna let you take this one first today. You've been awfully silent. I'm gonna let you fire this one out.
Well, year 2, here's what the expectation should be. It should be a natural progression from year 1 to year 2. So most coaches make a nice jump from year 1 to year 2, but year 2 to year 3 is usually where you see the biggest jump in a coach when he gets to a new program. So you should start to see more of his scheme in terms of looking the way it's supposed to look. Now that he's bringing in his guys, now that the guys that were there are used to running his system. So it should start to look more of like what you've seen from him in the past and the reason why you hired him. But at the same time, you don't want to put too high of expectations on him because as a fan base, we know how critical our fans can be. And the last thing we need you all doing is calling people, telling them you're going to kill them, cut their tires off, and kill all the chickens, all right? I need to stop that nonsense, all right? Realistic expectations. Year 1 to year 2, yes, there'll be a jump, but I'm not going to go out and say, hey, I expect a national championship. No, I'll say I expect a solid 11-win
All right,
season.
Marvin, hey, listen. I know your brain is kind of fried from you crushing the test. They won 9 games last year.
Well, that's why I say 10 or 11 this year.
So if they get to 11, you're saying they're in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying they're in the playoffs this year?
I'm saying as year 2, 10 or 11 wins and a possible trip to the playoffs should be a realistic goal.
Are they making the playoffs this year, Marvin Constant?
Smoke, normally I would say yes, but given the new makeup of the SEC and college football landscape, man, it's just not easy anymore. When you look at the magnitude of the teams in the SEC and the reality, you're probably going to have 2. You might get 3, but I mean, you'll
get, Marvin, you know what? You'll get 4. Moving forward from this year, I'll be on record. The SEC will have 4 teams in the college football playoffs. Big 10 is going to have 4. ACC is going to have 2. Big 12 is going to have 2. I mean, and everybody else falls in just because of what
happened last year. Yeah, but
TV rights and understanding that you need that name recognition.
Well, if there's going to be 4 SEC teams in there, I'm going to say Alabama will be one of those 4. But I mean, if I was taking the traditional from like last year, looking at 2 to 3 teams, you know, we might be on that edge. But with 4, I think they get in with 4 teams. Yes.
Stephen M.
My realistic expectation for year 2 DeBoer, the culture being right, like him having his own culture. That's the thing. DeBoer walked in year 1 with, okay, I still got a whole bunch of Saban guys, and I got to keep all of them together. Right. So year 2, this is his first class he signed in, and now you got the remainder of Saban guys that go, look, DeBoer, we behind you. We see what you're about. We see what you're trying to do. We want to be behind that. So year 2, it's that culture being healthy, that mentality being healthy, that mentality of we're going to be a well-disciplined football team. That's what I want to see. How healthy is that culture? And number 2, along with that, how much has DeBoer taken that ownership of that? And we can truly look at that as his team.
And Marvin, you know, this morning I played Smoke-A-Damas. I called you and told you don't pass the test without even knowing it. Correct? Yes or no?
Well, I appreciate it, man. You know, hey, listen.
Yes or no?
Yeah, you did. But I was sitting in the car. I had just got in my car when you texted me.
Yeah, but did I predict that without you calling me? Did I predict that? Yes or no?
Yeah, you said I was gonna pass. Yeah.
Yeah. So did I predict it? Yes or no?
As my friend, you're supposed to damn predict it. What you gonna say? You're gonna damn face. But yes, you did. Yes,
Marvin. Last week I told you to shut up, stop crying about how the test changed and and circumstances. I just told you obstacles are in front. Knock them down because that's what you do. And I said, listen, good luck. You already passed it in advance. Didn't even know that. I was cooking breakfast for the kids. But I know you. So I do have ability to forecast. Correct? So I'm going to give you 2 options of what's going to happen to Alabama this year. And I know I'm speaking out both sides of my mouth, but 2 things can be true. Let's look on the good side of it. I think they can get to 11 games, 10, 11 games to get into the playoffs. Why? Because I see the cultural move in year 2 that we're hearing coming out of the locker room. We'll touch into that a little bit later. But hiring over the offensive coordinator, Ryan Grubb, that had the Washington team playing well, I think that was a great move for him. Now, on the bad side, this is what I think. I think this year's Alabama team could be what Florida State was last year. And it's just crazy that they're both playing early in the season. And here's why. I said this a couple of years ago that when Florida State went 13-0 and they went down to Miami and got their jock straps blown off. Yeah, by Georgia. Got a 60 burger put on them.
Oh, yeah.
Just because of the mentality that the coach allowed those young people to go into that game with and play. They complained about not getting in the playoffs. They complained about the NCAA just treating them wrong. But Kirby on the other side said, hey, you know what? The cards that we're dealt, we're going to play it. And whatever happens, happens, and we're going to do it. Florida State came into the next season with that stink still on them. Went overseas. Got Georgia Tech, punished them. Came back, BC, handled them. And you just saw the trickle-down effect. So what I would say, the first team out of the playoff was Florida State. Last year's first team out of the playoff was who, Stephen M?
Alabama.
They go into the bowl game against a team, Michigan, which you thought they were going to be hyped up and ready to play. Marvin, what happened?
Got their teeth knocked in by a team that
Got their cookies snatched from them.
we lost. Pass the damn ball.
So hold on, Marvin. I just need a simple answer. Let's smoke a diamond. Keep going through it. So then we go and say you lose your quarterback the year before, and then you have to go to a new quarterback that's unproven. We saw DJU for Florida State. We don't know who we have this year.
Oh, but DJU was trash, though. That was a walking trash can. He was bad wherever he
All
went.
I'm saying, we're not talking about DJU. I'm just putting in the situation that Alabama's in. Right? So you have an offense that now saying, okay, what are we going to do? Up, down, around town, whatever. You don't know. So just like Florida State went through the same predicament of the unknown and became the trickle-down effect of going 2-11 last year, Bama's in the strongest conference, the SEC, and talk about parity, strong. Every single week you don't have to come with it. I could see Alabama going 11 wins, or they can go 2 wins. I don't think there's nothing in the middle for this team.
Wow. That's
I just painted a picture. Just
you know what? I'm kind of scared of smoking diamonds now.
Smoke a dog.
But it's all
Nostradamus.
It's all about the way that you handle what happened last year. Go ahead, Marvin.
You remember when we were talking about this? It was either last week or the week before, and I said the first 3 to 4 games of the season will determine the outcome of this season.
Agreed.
If it's a rough start, it's going to be a rough season, and you'll lose that team. But they come out playing ball as a unit, and you can tell that they've bonded and they truly do have each other's back. That's how you get to 10 or 11 games.
But Marvin, this quote right here, and I know Pettey has a chance. You can either paraphrase it or read it all the way through by Germie Bernard. Made me look at it just a totally different way in terms of what they're going through right now. And I think, Marvin, right now, they're getting over that threshold of understanding what Tuscaloosa and what Coach DeBoer and that staff is really trying to get through to those players down there. Go ahead, Pettey.
Oh yeah, just to pair. He said Germie said it's really the same system. Coach DeBoer has his own system, and that's set. Coach Grubb and Coach Sheridan throw in their little sprinkles here and there. It's been great having Coach Grubb back. I was with him at Washington. We had a really explosive system. He's at the NFL, and he was able to learn new things. Now we have the same explosive system and also have the NFL mindset. We're going to really have a good offense this year.
Perfect thing, right? The thing that we saw struggle last year, the side of the ball that struggled the most and was the most inconsistent. Now that you bring in a guy back, Ryan Grubb, that understand exactly what Coach DeBoer wants on offense, Nick Sheridan, you can now coach and focus solely on the strongest position, the most important position on the offense, the quarterback. Ryan Grubb is going to call the game and the way that Coach DeBoer wants it to be called, and nobody has to change anything. So they're all building off of what happened last year, and I'm not talking about the outcome and production, but the understanding and terminology of what each play is supposed to look like and how they're supposed to execute each play. Nothing new, just a little bit of wrinkles on it. And like you said earlier, Marvin, someone that can call the offense the right way, right flow, and adjust when time to adjust.
A great offensive coordinator, he's going to have his script to run those first 15 plays.
15
right. Beyond that, he has to have a feel for the game. He has to have a high football IQ. He has to understand his players, and he has to know what that defensive coordinator wants to do to him.
And Marvin, when you said players, go into a little bit more, and that's more of understanding your strength of your players.
Exactly.
Right?
What we do best. How do I get the matchups that I need? If I know my receiver runs inside routes better, okay, how do I get him a favorable matchup running up the seams? What do I do to get that middle linebacker to run his ass out of there so the middle of the field is wide open? If I know my outside receiver likes to run post corners, what can I do to hold that safety? What kind of play action can I run to draw him into the box so that post is going to be wide open over the top? It's certain things like that the great OC is going to know. He knows what he wants to do. He knows what his guys wants to do. He knows what the defensive coordinator wants to do. Defense coordinator wants to do. Now, how do I manipulate that to get my favorable outcome?
And also, Marvin, the offensive coordinator knows how to trust my quarterback to make certain audible, certain checkouts. Like, I know I got a run play called up, but if this defense knows the run play got called up, trusting my quarterback to shift the pass protection to the side where I know I'm going to get this protection, I'm going to have the numbers blocking wise, and I can hit that play action route, or I can hit that skinny bang eight, or I can hit whatever I'm trying to hit too.
But that goes back to knowing your players and knowing what that damn defensive coordinator wants to do to your ass.
Yeah. Well, and it goes back to the genesis of what you said at the beginning, Stephen, that positive culture. You've got to have a culture of trust. You've got to be on the same page. I know y'all love it. You got to be pulling the rope, right? The same direction, that dumbass saying. But in essence, that's holding the rope. But I think, man, this is the beauty of this show. I wish every Alabama fan could see it because I think y'all all hit on different aspects and then all the way up into Smoke and his heel turn to where we can say, I told you so if they don't win 2 games. But Marvin, I wish you could stand on a mountain and scream what you screamed. Football's different, guys. The Saban era of going undefeated and murder ball's done. That's done for everybody, not just Bama. That's done in football. The goal now, and what Smoke said, I don't know if it's 2 teams or 4 teams. The goal's 10 wins. If you can get to 10 wins and you're in the SEC, you're in it. If 4 teams get to 10 wins, 4 SEC teams are in it. If only 2 are in it. That's the overall goal of a college football fan now for every damn team. I think you nailed it, Marvin, and that's true for Alabama too. But the good thing for Alabama is there's talent there like we've talked about on this show, and it goes back. If you're a Bama fan, your expectations – or regardless of what you want to believe about last year, there was noise coming out of that program. There was noise. Turn that damn noise off. Turn it out. Lock the program down. What you guys used to do, just be about Alabama. Get that culture back to where it is, believing in the process because these guys can win. These coaches are winners. It's a good deal. And I think you're hearing that. I think you guys have echoed. Smoke, you're hearing it. Steven, you're hearing it. Not to rah-rah BS and get everybody hyped, but that's kind of what it sounds like is coming out of the program right now.
It's year 2 and understanding what Coach DeBoer wants in year 2. And the further you go on, the less that you're going to hear of what happened with Coach Saban. And that's probably the best thing. As long as you just keep on just trusting your process, whatever that is. None of us know what that truly is because none of us are in that building. But whatever Kalen DeBoer is selling to his people in that building, it looks like they're buying it. Courtney Morgan is on the recruiting trail, on the personnel trail of getting the right guys in there to build exactly what the head coach wants. And that's what we're going to deliver. Now, whatever the outcome is, as fans and alums, we got to sit back and understand that's what it is.
I'm going to add this to the end of this. The fact that all of the games you struggled with just a season ago, you have all of those at Bryant-Denny this season. That's going to play a huge role also. The loss to Tennessee, it sucked. It was awful. You got Tennessee and Tuscaloosa. The loss to Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia, that was awful. You got him in Tuscaloosa. The games that you dropped, they were in Tuscaloosa. And hopefully, Stephen, not to cut you, they learn Yes.
Each of those situations, because all of those games were all different.
Then you look at the game that you won close last year, South Carolina. You go to Columbia,
Right.
and you face a Shane Beamer team that won 6 games to wrap up their season last year, and they had a conversation to possibly get in the playoff.
Right.
How do you go to Williams-Brice and handle that rocket environment? Because I was there in 2019 in that rocket environment.
How are you handling Dylan Stewart coming off that edge?
Yes.
And how are you handling Lenore Sellers'
Absolutely.
explosiveness as a runner and rumblings coming out there? He's getting better as a passer. Is Nick Harbor, the 5-star receiver out of Archbishop Carroll in DC, is he ready to take that next step and become that 5-star player? So it's a lot that they have going on this year in Tuscaloosa. Go ahead.
I have to pull up to that game.
I'm telling you.
Make my way to South Carolina.
Columbia's an awesome environment.
Yeah.
Bro,
Williams-Brice, that's an awesome environment.
phenomenal, bro. When they get that stadium rocking. Marvin,
Marvin,
last time you been a game in the state of South Carolina when you came and saw Dabo put it on us when I was coaching at Citadel?
No,
In like 2013.
yep, that's the last. Yeah, that's the last time. But
Yeah.
Clint Haggard is the South Carolina's head trainer, though. You remember Clint?
Yeah.
Me and Clint spent a lot of time together in my rehab. Clint always tells me, "Hey, when you want to come to the game, let me know." Clint, I'm gonna take you up on y'all.
You gonna pull up on them?
I'm gonna pull up on Clint for this one.
So here's my question: is there any way and chance that we can actually do the Bama Standard for an away game?
Ooh.
We play anywhere on the beach.
Oh, man.
Hey Marvin, I'm telling you, Columbia jumps, bro.
I believe it.
I was there.
That rooster noise.
Bro,
Dude,
I'm just talking about.
I'm
that-
telling
Start
you.
waving those white towels. You better get that
Dude,
title
I
towel.
was there.
The sand,
I
enter the
was there.
sand, man.
Yeah, it goes.
It's a loud state. It's a low key one of the louder stadiums in SEC.
Well, Smoke, I'm
It is-
telling you now, I'm going to that game. I'm gonna take Clint up on. I'm gonna text him when I get off right now. Tell him.
Hey, look, you don't ever have to tell me and give me a reason to pull up to the great state of South Carolina. Hey, this guy. How many books have you authored, Marvin? How many have you got?
2.
2. What's the first book?
The Unraveling of a Man Who Bleeds Crimson.
Yep, my name was in it. Still don't have no money from it. All right.
Marvin got a library.
I don't got no kickback. Nothing. I'm just sitting here waiting on the check. Nothing.
I get you a kickback.
Hey, Smoke.
Yeah.
Still no residuals. No residuals.
Nothing.
Well, you just thought Jamie Foxx didn't get no residuals from the Jamie Foxx show, and they made millions. Hell,
You see what type of friends I'm working with? That dude just I'm in it nothing. Nothing. Not a dime.
Speaking of waiting on kickbacks, waiting on things, one thing we don't make you do here at the Bama Standard is wait for badass Alabama football content in your face. So hit that like and subscribe. Go to Whitwell Sports, get your title towel, but hit that subscribe button so you can get all of that Bama Standard content coming to you throughout the week.